Yes. Okay, everybody. So this is Pirkei Avot from Hashem, who gave it to Moshe Rabbeinu, passed it down, and eventually got codified by the men of the Great Assembly. And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi in the Mishnah. This is the end of the book of Nezikin, the book of Damirs. We're learning one today from a very big Tana who we don't know a lot about, called Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema. Rabbi Yehuda ben Tema, living at the time of Hillel and Shammai. My friends, you come to a good one tonight. You come to one, I'm going to ask you to learn off by heart. I'm going to ask you to learn this off by heart, so you're going to have to get your brain in gear. This isn't just sitting down and watching Netflix. Okay, I'm going to ask you to get your brain. So it's either Pirkei, Mishnah, Chaf Gimel on my one, where it says Yehuda ben Tema Omer. If you can't find it, I'll share it behind you to try and help you find it. Chapter 5, and my one, Mishnah 23. But it's got a different one, sometimes Mishnah 20. But either way, the rabbi's going to read it for you. We're going to learn it together. And hopefully, b'schut this Mishnah, in the merit of this Mishnah, there's going to be peace in our country. There's going to be peace between Jews and Jews. There's going to be peace between yourselves and your families. There's going to be peace just between you and yourself. And B'ezrat Hashem, in that way, we're not going to have to mourn on 9th of Av. We're going to be celebrating rebuilding of the Bet HaMikdash. Here we go. Yehuda ben Tema Omer. Yehuda ben Tema says, you ready for this? Here we go. This is like an animal one. Anyone like animals? This is all about animals tonight. Mandy, if you were an animal, what would it be?
Lion, maybe.
Ati. Tiger. Here we go. So there is a line in here. Number one. Havi az kanamer. Havi az kanamer. This is the leopard. Says Yehuda, he wants you to be bold as a leopard. As arrogant as a leopard. As chutzpahdik as a leopard. Point number one. Number two, the Kal Kanesher, and as light as an eagle. Be an eagle. Number three, Ratz Katzvi, run like a deer. Number four, the Gibor Ka'ari, and be as strong as a lion. La'asot Ratzon Avicha Shabashamayim, to do the will of your Father in heaven. So before anything, I wanted to look into this. See if you can memorize this, learn this off by heart, and then you'll have a Mishnah tattooed on your soul. So tell me when you can learn this off by heart, even in English, even in Russian. Okay, Nati, you got it?
יהודה בתימה אומר, ואז כאן אמר, וכאן כאן אשר, ורץ קציר וגיבור פרווה לעשות מצום אביב המשנה.
Nazi, I say this every week. Girls, if you're looking to marry a big tzaddik, a big Thomas Kafar, I highly recommend Nati, you know. That means that if a girl tells you something, you just remember it forever now. Right? Oh, it's only with Mishnah selected memory, I hear. So Nati is my guessing to you. The way you learn Mishnah by heart, learn what a woman wants by heart. Anyone else like to give it a go? Anyone think there is you can say it in English or Hebrew? Come on, guys, don't be shy, don't be shy. This is where it says you should have Torah tattooed on your heart. You should learn it off by heart. You should be, I want you to walk down the streets heavy. Az kanamer, bold as a leopard. Avikal kanesher, be light as an eagle. Rotz katzvi, run like a deer. Liot gibor ka'ari, be strong as a lion. But then, very important, lasos, mitzamcha, avin shabashamayim, to do Hashem's will, which we're going to see is a very important caveat in that Mishnah. Anyone can say it off by heart? Let's give it a go. Gal? Come on. Huh? I wish. And if you look on your phone, if you go to Saria, go to Pirkei Avot, chapter 5, should be Mishnah 20. Okay, anyone else? No one else is willing to go for it? Okay, how about this, guys? There are four animals. Four animals. What are the four animals? Number one, the leopard, the eagle, the deer, and the lion. Everyone got that? So he's telling us to be like four animals in certain areas. And now let's connect them. Number one is the leopard. What like a leopard?
Brave.
Bold. Doesn't say brave. They be bold. Be'az kanamer. Chutzpah. It's spun like a leopard. People in Tel Aviv take it very seriously. Number two, Kal be light kanesher. Okay, so number one is bold as a leopard. Number two, light like an eagle, swift as an eagle. Number three, ratz katzvi, run like a deer. You ever see a deer run? Someone I used to play this beautiful golf course. There was deers in the middle. And I used to come anywhere near and they used to run faster than the greatest athletes. And it's a beautiful sight, these running deers. So this is asking us to run like a deer, which we need to understand what that's referring to. And finally, what's the final one? Gibar Ka'ari. My name's Aryeh, lion. So like you, Mandy, I hope I would be a lion if I was. I'm Avraham Aryeh. So I've got the Abraham and the Aryeh, because Hashem says you're going to need some strength of the lion for the crazy life you're about to live, Rabbi. So he gave me the name Aryeh. Hashem, I need it. So be Gibar Ka'ari. Be strong like a lion. Let's try that again. What are the four ones? The first one is leopard. And be what is a leopard? Bold as a leopard. Number two, light as an eagle. Come on, everyone. Number three, we're going to be here all night. Fast like a deer, run like a deer. Number four, Gibar Ka'ari, strong like a lion. I'm going to try it again. This time, every single one of you. I'm looking at all of you at the same time. Hashem's given me that gift. No, I need to see you as well. Let's see if you've all got this. Okay, number one. Here we go. Number one. What is a leopard? Number two. Three. Number four. Strong as a lion. Let's try it again. Let's get this into your consciousness. Number one. Bold as a leopard. And that's in Hebrew. Az kanamer. Number two. Which in Hebrew is Nesher. Number three, Ratzketzvi. And number four, Gibar Ka'ari. Are we there? Do I have them? Can you tell them before? No, I don't. I'm thinking on him. You got it? Tell me in English. Tell me in English, it's fine. As a leopard. Yeah. Light as an eagle. Yeah. Run/fast as a deer. Mm-hmm. Strong. La. Can we have a psh? Okay. So now, what has that got to do with how I'm going to live my life? How to be a better person? Normally, we look at animals as something not to emulate and to aspire. We look at animals generally as something without free will, something animalistic. We don't normally look at it as a, hey, be an animal. You know what you're missing? Just be like a duck. We don't normally say that. But yet, the Mishnah is telling you that these are four very important ingredients in your spirituality. And I have to tell you, the more I've been learning about it today and preparing, it's genius, it's magical. This is the secret of how to succeed spiritually in life, how to succeed spiritually, specifically overcoming your ego and overcoming your Yetzirah in getting close to Hashem. And let's start off with first because it's a specific order for a specific reason. It says us, you should be bold like a leopard. Come on there. Now, I'll straight away ask with a question. Chutzpah, good thing or bad thing? Generally, we say that. And if you actually look, ironically, look everyone at the next Mishnah. First, you've got a Mishnah in front of you. Do you know what it says for those who have got chutzpah? Az panim legehem, which means, you want to go to hell? Be chutzpahdik. The people that are chutzpahdik are the ones, in other words, be chutzpahdik, go to hell. You go to hell it's because you've been chutzpahdik. And then you got this Mishnah saying, be chutzpahdik. Ma'olech po. Now, let's see if you've got your Talmudic brains on. Just everything's in the wording. Everything's in the wording. What is the difference of the words of the first Mishnah and the second Mishnah? One, first of all, telling you to be chutzpahdik, be an as, and the second one to tell you you can go to hell if you're going to have as. The first one, it says, heavy as kanamer, and critically, asot raton chavina sh'bashamayim. And the second one, liot az kapanim. If you're az kapanim, Gehenim. Az kapanim, Gehenim. So let me explain. Panim, my friends, from the word panim, is your inner world. If you are someone of chutzpah, if your essence is a chutzpah soul, you've become the leopard. You are a leopard. Your essence is that of chutzpah. It's not going to end well. You're going to have a very uncomfortable experience in this world. However, the azka namer, like we learned a few weeks ago, where the Rambam says, sometimes we have to imitate other emotions to try and move forward in life. So we learned last time, if you ever need to display anger to your children, don't be angry, but you could fake the look of anger once you're calm. So tonight we're going to learn the following. If you're a nice, humble soul, which is the goal, in fact, the way the Mishnah puts it, we should have busha. We should be people of shame. We should be people who have embarrassment. We shouldn't want to be strutting around in an embarrassing way. It's good to be quiet, to be humble. The biggest tzaddikim are the ones who are very humble, anonymous, no one knows about. Having busha is a big spiritual growth. But there are sometimes in life you need to fake it. Not to make it, but fake it to fake it. Meaning, start with, when my rabbi told me to come to start an organization in Tel Aviv, of all places, Baruch Hashem, to give a shiur, I like to do this. This is what I do naturally. Baruch Hashem, thank you Hashem for giving me this book to do this. The other parts of building organizations, dealing with staff, service providers, be it landlords, be it the worst trigger words of the world, fundraise, which I can't even say that word without feeling sick. That, So Rav Yaakov Hillel would say to me, you got to go fundraise and follow this Mishnah. Sometimes, like tomorrow, I hope he's got an appointment. I've got to go in there, faking confidence, go in there, doing things out of my comfort zone that I don't naturally want to do. Even have, asking someone for money. That's, for me, one of the most uncomfortable things. I'm it's the opposite of who I am. I like to give people money. I like to give people share in Torah. So to say to someone, can you help please give tzedakah, is very hard. But maybe by using the leopard's boldness, by finding some boldness outside of me, integrating it into my conversations, maybe we can succeed then. That's an easy example. And therefore, it could be some of you, when you go on a date, some of you might naturally, it's very awkward. You're meeting someone, you've no idea who they are, and you're having a date with them. Could be super awkward. Find someone in your life who's got that kind of chutzpah, who's got that confidence, and integrate it. Take a little bit of that someone else's confidence into your date with you. Find the strut that you don't normally have, but do the strut. But again, don't ever chas v'shalom become someone who's an arrogant, chutzpahdik person. There's been a whole, I'm sure, something you've seen a lot online over the past couple of days. We've had an interesting guest to Israel, to Tel Aviv. Let's just call him Klav. I think you can say that, right? You know what I'm talking about? With the big influencer who streams around. He's caused a huge furore coming into Tel Aviv. He was thrown out of a club because a few months ago he sat with his other influence singing Tahal hit songs from Kanye West. And he's very friendly with a lot of anti-Semites. So the question is he an anti-Semite? Is he not? He came, this Chabad rabbi who likes putting on tefillin, called Yossi Farrow, said, I'm still going to be his friend. And he's coming, looking after him on this trip and took him to the Kotel. I've been taking him around Tel Aviv and been staying with him at the Royal Beach Hotel over here in Tel Aviv. And then a lot of other rabbis are starting on the Yossi Farrow. What are you doing? Putting tefillin on anti-Semites. He also is very degrading about women. He wanted just to be able to find women to sleep with. And he said it on the things. If you watch it, he said, I just need someone for 10 seconds. That's what he meant it. And by the way, he's got millions and millions of followers, millions. He's like one of those famous streamers out there. And there was this amazing line that someone showed me that is why I'm going to share this with you. I think it's a deep line of how not to be. Listen to this line on this genius. So he's got all these like Israeli girls on a bus who are like showing him beauties of Tel Aviv. And one of them said to him, I think you should be a little bit more humble. And he looked at them and said, do you know who I am? I'm a mega superstar. And I found that was a brilliant line because that's what a narcissist misses. They think they don't have to do humility. They think that humility is for poor, miskin people. People who are poor, who no one knows about, who aren't famous. They need to be humble. But us, great people, it's amazing. He's great. Why? Because he streams and he's doing really immoral things on streaming, and that's why he's great. Anyway, if he wants to call himself great for that, that's fine. But I know someone really great, like really great, probably the greatest Jew who ever, the greatest human who ever lived, called Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Torah says he Moshe Anav Mikol Adam. So if you want to be genuinely great, you need to be humble. So don't let any narcissist tell you. Don't let anyone who's famous tell you that humility isn't relevant for me. On the contrary, the more you have a capacity to make a difference in this world, the more halavai you should access humility. It's ironic. Anyone who doesn't think they need to be humble really needs to be humble. Humility isn't something like medication. Humility is one of the greatest gifts Hashem has given us to be able to feel Him in this world by reducing our ego size. By understanding that our blessings and our greatness comes from Hashem, not from ourselves. So Adar, he's making a big mistake in thinking that because he's a mega superstar, humility is not relevant for him. I would say, all the more so, we should really seek on what is humility. Because he really needs it. And everyone really needs it. I need it. We all need it. But what I'm getting at is It's also good against the evil eye. For sure. For sure. But the point is that even the Mishnah saying, have a as kanamer, be bold as a leopard, but don't be bold in your essence, chas v'shalom. Don't ever be as banim legehenem. I think sometimes when you see people being, we call it Jewish chutzpah, unfortunately, it's a little bit not faking. It's a bit too natural. It's a bit too real. They're too good at it. It's almost like lama lo, I deserve it. Shaveli. There's this voice, I'm a God's gift, and you know who I am, and lama. That's wrong. If you're arrogant because you think you deserve it, going to hell. But if you're arrogant because you're copying a leopard in order to serve Hashem, so give me an explanation. And this I found incredible. There's a big tzaddik called Rav Moshe Isserlis. I had the blessing of many times going to his grave in Krakow. And he's got a very famous masterpiece on Shulchan Aruch, on the Code of Jewish Law. Halacha! We have thousands of halachot. Do you know how he starts his halachot? His very first line, before waking up in the morning and all the mitzvot we do, you know what he starts? Before anything, he says the following. Be chutzpahdik. If other people are going to try and make fun of you for embracing Judaism, for embracing halakha, for wanting to... How many of you have you ever been in a scenario where you really want to do kosher, but your friends around you are taking you to a non-kosher restaurant? So you're embarrassed to say, I want to eat kosher. How many of you want to keep Shabbat on a Friday night, but sometimes your peers or your friends are saying, no, come here, and they're giving you peer pressure? How many of you, could it be your family themselves who haven't been brought up keeping Shabbat or kosher or festival, are saying, I've got so many students that they want to keep Pesach, but they're found that's not what we do. We do our kind of Seder. Have the TV. Don't have to be so strict with all this chametz thing. And I know people want to be close to Hashem, want to keep the Torah, but they're not bold enough. They haven't activated that Jewish chutzpah, which is going to enable them to start performing spiritually. You can't. I'll give you another example. How many chayalim can be maybe nervous before they have to go? How many chayalim could be scared? Going into Gaza over the past war, I'm sure was incredibly traumatic for many. But they had to find some courage and some boldness to say, Yalla, we're the tiniest army in the world and the smallest nation and a sinner, but we have Hashem on our hands. And we've never lost yet with David HaMelech, with Moshe Rabbeinu. We're going to win this time with Hashem. So I'm going to be bold for you, Hashem. That's how an Israeli soldier should go into battle. With that strut, with that confidence, not coming from a place of arrogance, but coming, ironically, from a place of humility, of knowing that Hashem's with you, but then have the strut, and then strut like Panther, and then be bold. But I think it's saying something even more, my friends. And this is what I think this whole Mishnah is going to be telling you. Do you know who is your biggest enemy in your life? Yourselves. My friends, if you want to spiritually grow, if you want to become great, if you want to become the best versions of yourself, that Yetzirah in your subconscious, which brings you down, which says, no, it's not for you, you can't do that. Start activating that leopard to your Yetzirah. Because I'll tell you what, your Yetzirah to you can be very chutzpah, and you don't have a problem receiving the chutzpah from your Yetzirah. So give it back. Give it back tenfold to your Yetzirah, huh?
How do you activate the...
So I'll give you an example. Bonire, I am for sure tonight, there was probably a few of you that were going to come to learn Torah in Tel Aviv on a Monday night. But maybe some of their friends said, oh, you don't want to do that. I've got much more fun stuff. We've got a big party. There's a big club opening tonight. There's a lot of fun. Don't be a loser. Come with me. And I bet there were some people that the chutzpah of the Yetzirah defeated the timidity, the weakness of the Yetzer Tov. Whereas maybe some of you, even Mandy, even probably yesterday, I'm sure that Mandy did a beautiful event for us at JTLV. I'm sure there was times your Yetzirah was saying, oh, I don't think I can do this.
A few days ago.
I don't think I can put it off. I'm going to cancel. Nachon?
Yeah.
But what you did, you found the panther in you, Mandy. You found that panther in you and you said, Yalla, we can do it. And that's why you did it. And that's why you succeeded. And in every area of your spiritual growth, your Yetzirah, for a certain point, will try and stop your tracks. Will try, that's not for you. This isn't for you. You're in the wrong. This isn't who you are. And you know what? You need to come back to your Yetzirah, punch it with a big leopard's bite, and say, get out of my face. We're going to do it. And this is the secret. Are you ready? If you say, I am doing it for our Creator, I'm doing it for Hashem, I'm doing it for the Jewish people, I'm doing it for Torah, you're allowed to use that pan chutzpah. You're going to succeed. But don't do it if it's for material greed. Don't do it if it's for ego. And sadly, when we see chutzpah around, it's too much. It's funny, like, I'm I'm from England. So, like, Q normally means a queue. When I came to Israel, I could be standing in a queue. And before you know, I'm standing for days because everyone's getting in front of me. Because so everyone's leopards. So I've had to now be a leopard back, which is really crazy. Like, hey, hello, and now I'm leoparding back. But the point is, if people are being leopards just to get in front of someone in the queue, if someone's being leopards to try and steal from someone money, yes, it's stealing. When you have a deal with someone and then they break that deal because they think they can because it's not written on contract. So yeah, I'll tear fryer. Let me see what I can get out. That's wrong. That's the being az panim legenim. That's using your chutzpah for yourself. Hell, maybe in this world you get away with it, but not in the next world. But when can you use chutzpah? For Hashem. Lasot, son, avicha shebashamayim. The way the litmus test, as he used to say, what's my motivation for what I'm doing? So, for example, if someone is doing an act for their own pleasure, for fun, even worse, to humiliate someone, you can't say, I'm doing it for Hashem. If you're doing a sin, you can't say it's for Hashem. But if you're doing something, let's say it's for Shabbat, or it's to do a chesed for someone, to do kindness for someone, you're going to visit the sick, you're doing a chesed olchim, you're doing kibbutz v'em, you're doing a mitzvah. So then you be bold, be bold. You know, that's what Rav Kook says, and this is worth coming to say these two words that he says. You want to achieve greatness in spirituality? Dream big. But too many of us, if we ever dream big, it's for material gain. Or streamers are dreaming big to get billions because they want to be the have billions. That's dreaming silly. Dream for Hashem. Dream his dream. So that's step number one, my friends, okay? That's step number one, to be bold like a leopard for Hashem. We got it? You ready to be bold like a leopard in your inner world? You know what that means, Nancy?
Yeah, I just have a question. Is it like it has to be like things to do with God, but just being kind to people? It doesn't matter.
That's Hashem.
Anyone. Like,
Anything which is moral,
yeah.
anything which is good ethically, that's the Creator wants that. You know, and why do we do acts of kindness? Because Hashem's kind. So and He's asked us to be kind to humanity. So every time we're doing acts of kindness and compassion, that's a spiritual act. So then be bold in that. Be ambitious in that. That's number one. Number two.
You mentioned that chutzpah.
Yeah.
So what? Obviously, every midah is malice and concerns and weaknesses. How could chutzpah be used in a way that that's done? Like 2 weeks ago, you were explaining about like using like anger.
Sure.
Right? You broke down the whole anger, and is it really done as like a cuss?
Sure.
No. He was the rabbi was speaking about 2 weeks ago about anger and the four different midot. So I'm saying is like, how do you use chutzpah not in, let's just say, an Israeli style, but in a way of like doing something good?
That's what I didn't say. Don't use it as an Israeli style. Use the Israeli style, but do it for good.
Right, so that
Do it as a soldier. Do it, as I said, as a fundraiser. Do it as a leader.
innovatively.
Yeah, be innovative, but as long as you're doing it for Hashem, as long as you're doing it for Israel, the God is the motivation. Obviously, the way you do it as well is important. You know, if I go to my meeting tomorrow with the donor and I either embarrass him, that's not good. If I humiliate him, that's not good. If I lie to him, that's not good. So you still can't do chutzpah in an immoral way. But if you are, we call it in English, bullshit, right, or confidence, you know, and you know, go out the comfort zone and ask for money. That's pretty bold. So if you do that, but you're doing it for Hashem, that's the way to do it. But don't do it just because I want to cut the queue. Don't do it because, hey, another guy's going out with this girl, so I'm going to go and get it instead. That's using the leopard in the wrong way. Don't be a leopard. Act like a leopard for Hashem in the right time. That's step one.
I think that the most classical example is what the has been. Because that's feeling.
Beautiful.
You did something and
Great. Love that. Next now, number two. What's the second one we learned? Light like an eagle. So anyone like to now do a Rabbi Hill? What do you think? Chiri, what do you think it means to be light like an eagle? What do you think Hashem's telling us? And now we understand this is about spiritual self-growth. First of all, we have to act in chutzpah. What does it mean to use eagle soaring? What do you think about when you think about an eagle soaring as a way to grow spiritually, as a way to overcome your Yitzhak? Good. So step one is there's a famous mashal about an eagle, that the eagle carries its young from underneath. Why? because he protects him from all the arrows coming up. He says it's putting its body in between itself and its loved ones. So for sure, one notion of the eagle is sacrifice yourself for others. Sacrifice, put other people before you. Love. The thing is, it's just like an eagle. So I don't really understand the light. So I tell you what my tzaddikim, if when I've been looking up in Chassidut, what it's telling us, and I think, yeah, going to say,
You need to let things pass through you, but also you don't be
nice.
maybe
Not to take it too seriously, life.
maybe use be efficient, not to waste too much energy. Flow with the air. Yeah,
Ace, you be ultra efficient.
very efficient.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Anyone else? So I'll tell you what I feel. I feel probably there's two areas. One of the biggest problems, if I look, even just you, my friends around here, if I've had to do a one-to-one coaching with you and try and help you become the best version of yourself, I'd say, do you know what could really help you? Video yourself for 24 hours and then sit back and watch it. Meaning, sometimes when when you don't step back, when you don't zoom out, you can't see the wood from the trees. We're so conflicted and we don't even know where the real conflict is. I bet you have many struggles. You don't even know you're struggling. Just the Sahara is just beating you up. You don't even know you're being beaten up. That's the way the Yitzhar works. Self-sabotage is so deep, it's so subtle, it can get you without you even realizing you're being got at. Like our friend Clive, when this girl said to Clive, you should be a bit humble, and he's like, I'm a mega superstar. I don't think you're talking to the right person. He doesn't even realize how much he needs humility. His Yitzhar has totally hijacked his head, and he's lost it right now. He doesn't see. He thinks it's cool to go and just have sex with as many girls as possible in one night. And he thinks that's morally okay. So he's deluded because of probably his desires and what he's trying to set up for himself. That's giving him clicks. So the point is, how many things are giving you clicks, and you're doing it therefore for your clicks? Meaning, this gives you maybe adrenaline boost, makes you maybe feel good, you enjoy it, and now you do it. But if you can just step back and soar like an eagle and look from that vantage point, what happens when you go high? When you go high, you start seeing the bigger picture. You know, there's a beautiful hotel in London, which I recommend. When you come to London, you should check out the tallest building in London called the Shard. And you go there and you go to like the top and you can just see so much of London. And you can see accidents before they're about to happen. You see cars going there and cars going there, and you can see what's happening, and the drivers can't see it. The drivers can't see it. In fact, I use that a little bit as a mashal, for which Hashem knows the future, but yet he's an impact of free will. So you just take that for a moment. So if we could learn to go super high and just start looking at our life, why do I get triggered from these things? What is it that keeps you in bed in the morning when you know you should get up? Why? Why? Why is it that you go for the alcohol in those occasions? Or you go for the drugs in those occasions? You know, so many people like love weed and they think, oh, it chills me. What happens if it was killing you? What happens if it's actually making you, if you looked at it from the outside and you see that actually you're not your best anymore? It's draining you, it's dulling you, it's harming you. You're not on fire anymore. You're not as ambitious as you used to be. Can you see what other people are seeing? So that's one area I think the Kalkanesha. Start looking up and start looking at the whole. In fact, there's a beautiful Mishnah where it says in chapter 2, Haroy Tanalad. Start seeing my yeah. What the eagle can do, like as I said, when I was on the top of the shards, I was able to see things before they've happened. We need to learn to have that foresight in our own lives. It's tragic that too many people have hindsight but not foresight. Oh, what's happened? Oh, if only I would have known. We can know by soaring like eagles, by getting up and start thinking. Have you ever done this? Maybe try it as an exercise before Shabbat. Find that time. Ask yourself, if I was to zoom out and look at my life and look at my inner struggles, why do I do what I do? What advice would I give myself? Try this. You ever tried this? If I was my own coach, what would I advise to myself? And start thinking, if I continue to do it like this will happen. I'll give you an example. One of my biggest koevli, it hurt me 10 years ago in Tel Aviv. And I had some students and they told me, I'll get married, I'll make a shidduch. And 10 years later, nothing's changed. Nothing changed. And this is a city where, Shmuley was asking the good or the bad of the city. One of the scary parts of the city, you can stay as Peter Pan in your own head forever. You think, hey, I'm free, I'm having fun, I'm zoreming, I don't have to be serious, I don't have to make changes. I make changes to my physique. People are very into that in this city. Right? It's ironic, right? There's a lot of fitness need, but I think it's detracting and distracting from spiritual fitness. From, let's say, fitness about, I want to get married. What do I need to do to get married? A lot of people think, I'm just going to get married by doing the same lifestyle, just have find someone else to do it with. Maybe not. Maybe I need to make inner changes to my world to make myself more ready to receive that partner. Yeah, yeah.
Like I went through that, like if you yourself are working at spirituality and boxing the partner, but you're in a world in which nobody is collectively doing that.
So maybe change your circle.
I think it's everywhere. It's everywhere, even in the ones that
I know.
are supposed to be more spiritual.
I know. Here's the thing, all right, and this is now very important. Because we believe in Hashem, and because ultimately Hashem owns the world, even if the odds are against us, miracles happen. The Jewish people are that. Eretz Yisrael is that. All you can do is your part. And you just need one guy. Just one guy to do a little bit of his part, and Mazal Tov. And the moment that Hashem deems it ready, it'll be ready. So you just, just keep on doing what you're doing. Be the best version of yourself. Keep trying, maybe in a very, at times, painful way, to really look hard in the mirror and see what changes do I need to make to myself so I'm a vessel ready to receive love. Where am I getting in the way? Do I really want to share my home with someone? Do I really want to share? Do I want to have someone sleeping in my bed every night? Do I want to, share the bathroom with someone? Do I want to make those different changes to my lifestyle? Because I am convinced many people don't. That's why their life doesn't change, even though they say, I want to get married. You can't just say, I want to get married, I'm the same. It doesn't work that way. You've got to be prepared to make the change. And this is a city which doesn't really talk about it, because the city can be always with someone without having to change. It's fine, but you're not with your partner. You're not with your soulmate then. To be with your soulmate, it requires a lot of inner maturity and inner change. And that will be a good example of Kakanesha, where have that foresight, soar above, look from an above perspective, zoom out, have that bird's eye look. The bird's eye look at your life, and then you'll start growing. So that's number 2. Number 3. What was number 3, everyone? Ratzkatzvi. By the way, I just remember my story that happened to me when I was brought up more toward modern Orthodox. I was very into my football. I loved soccer. I tried with Arsenal, and when I went to yeshiva, I kind of had my epiphany. If I wanted to just sit and become a rabbi like this, I changed my dress a bit. I put on a white shirt, I put on a black kippah, a black hat, and I remember first time, like after 2 months of being in yeshiva, I was now wearing a hat. One of my friends got engaged, and normally by that point I was wearing my hat every morning. But I knew if my friends would see me with that hat, they'd just make fun of me. They'd start like laughing at me, and they'd start taking the mick. So I was like, no, I'm not going to wear that. And I remember I was in Shiva called the Outnet, and we had to like the 2 minute walk to the bus stop. So I started walking, and all of a sudden, now sounds amazing. Because I found a Mishnah. I just randomly opened the Mishnah before I left for the bus. The Mishnah from Eruvin said the following: it's better the whole world laugh at you the whole time than Hashem laughs at you for 1 minute. Imagine, I didn't even know it existed in Mishnah like that until I saw it with my eyes. It's better than the whole world laughs at you the whole time than Hashem's laughed. And I kept saying that when I was talking. I said, all right, Hashem, you win. Quickly ran back to Shiva, got my hat, managed to make it to the bus. Actually, no one cared. No one really said anything. And it just shows sometimes you think people are going to say things that's more in your mind because the Yitzhak are trying to stop you from doing it. So you think that what people will say, and it's normally a lot worse, the perception, than the reality. So that was a Mishnah where I had to literally find that boldness of a leopard when I did it. But now, what's the Rotzkatzvi? So this is now a really important point, and Bezrat Hashem, when we finish Pirkei Avot, I'm hoping to finish it by Rosh Hashanah. The next thing I will start doing on Monday night, hopefully, is Mizrat Yesharim. And Mizrat Yesharim from the Ramchal, he talks a lot about this concept of Rotzkatzvi. And the concept is called Zirizut, meaning I've now found the chutzpah to at least I'm starting the ball game. I've got this. I'm seeing it from a bird's eye perspective. But now what, friends? When that moment to do a mitzvah comes, if you just go sluggishly, if you go slowly, in the end you'll go backwards. The way the Ramchal puts it, this is a really important point. Our default position is laziness. The body does what a dog wants to do, just wants to lie on the beach all day in the sun. Nothing is more delicious to the body than that. Because doing nothing, since the embodiment of laziness. Again, it's really ironic that beachfront, which I've just walked from, you've got either people just doing nothing or running like crazy. It's like, make your mind up. You know, you want to be lazy, you want to work hard. It's like the people are like schizophrenic. Okay, now I've done nothing, I'm going to start running crazy. It's like people are having both extremes in the same moment. It's really quite deep. But the Mishnah is saying something very beautiful. And it's all because of this beautiful piece of Zohar. Rachmana boy libe. Hashem wants your heart. He doesn't just want the action, he wants you to want it. And therefore, Mandy, I bet that for you to succeed on Sunday, you really want it. So you got there early, you made the effort, you put your everything into it. Because if you don't do that, you're not going to succeed, especially when it comes to spirituality. If you're half-hearted, it will be defeat. If you want to succeed in life spiritually, run to the mitzvahs. That's why it says, Zrizin makdimim lemitzvot. The people, Zrizin means to be this word in Hebrew, in English, electricity, which means basically very enthusiastic with pace, moving forward. I watched the way people walk to shul. Many people walk to shul like this. You ready? They walk to shul like this. And then they're a bit slower. They're just talking to someone, a little bit of backward talk, and then a few more steps forward. And a lot of people walk to shul slow. It's amazing. You know, during the week they're running fast. But when it comes to walking to shul, take my time, because it's the way you walk shows how much you want it. You know, I like football even now, and when there was whenever this Spurs game, I'm a Spurs supporter. One of my things, I was offered trials with Arsenal. I told him no. I said, yeah, you're not my team. Whenever I would go to a game, especially the big Champions League games, I'd sometimes be running, because by the time there's cars and you want to get there before it starts, and there's bala. So the more you want it, you run. And then I thought, wow, am I running to mitzvot? Even so, now I have to run to mitzvot. You know, how you go to a mitzvah will be indicative of your succeed or fail. It's really deep. But basically, to be enthusiastic, to be passionate. Let's say you have a mitzvah to do, whatever, Bikkur Cholim. You want to visit the sick. Don't just like, okay, when I'm like done everything else, and there's time, maybe you won't go. If you feel, wow, you've got to pass someone you care about, someone you love, who's not well, so you make it first. Everything else can go to the background. Yalla, I'm there. I'm putting it forward. You move fast. You go quickly. You get that over and done with first and foremost. And then other things. That's the way to spiritually succeed. If you don't use result, that's why it says with Avram Avinu, who embodied this more than anyone, he did the Akedah by Yeshem Avraham Baboker. He got up early in the morning to do it. Let's get up early in the morning. Take out of his own donkey to go and kill his son. Another example, his greatest act was Bikkur Cholim, looking after the sick. It's an amazing thing. You might have thought he was hyperventilating. Why? Because the angels came to him and he said to his wife, Sarah, Mahari, Mahari. She's starting to talk about Mahari, quick, quick. Ishmael comes, Eliezer comes. Maher. He's saying Maher, Mahari. Rats, he's running. He embodies results. Because the body wants to do nothing, lie on the beach all day. So if you want to get your body to be an angelic body, a body of a malach, a body doing the will of Hashem, you've got to go to the other extreme. You've got to move your body really hard. You've got to synthesize your heart with your body and start moving fast towards the direction of the mitzvot. You know, I just saw, it was the Yortzeit today of Rabbi Yashiv, big tzaddik, who was one of our tzaddikim I had the pleasure of meeting. These tzaddikim, you don't understand. I mean, when I went to see him one time, they've only got a sefer, and when they're learning, they're moving. He's shocking. He was like in his 90s, and he's moving. If you watch the video clips of him learning, he's learning with Rizut. They're not just like, they're on fire. The Torah's on fire because their body's on fire. Same when you daven. If when you're going to daven, it's like, Shema Israel. You know, you want to make fire, so you got to rub the things together. There's got to be passion. You got to talk to Hashem with passion. There's no passion. Is the Kaddish lady calls it? There's no gun. There's no gun powder for the bullet to work. So that's number 3. Let there be passion. And then finally, number 4, V'liot gibor ka'ari. What does it mean, gibor ka'ari? So first of all, the famous Mishnah. Ezu gibor. He was a strong man. Hakoveshet yitzcho. Someone who overcomes the Yetzirah. So the first thing, the strength is in your. You know, one of the most maybe inspiring parts of my job is helping those people with addictions. When I help someone with addictions, one of my mentors was a great rabbi called Rabbi Abraham J. Tversky. Literally, his whole life was helping addicts. And some of the secrets that he says is about this. The courage that an addict needs to become healthy. Wow. You know, there's an addict that I was working with recently. He told me that at his very lowest ebb, he made a loop, hung himself in the loop, and was ready to die. And as he was kicking the door, as his legs were kicking, he was kicking the door so loudly that Baruch Hashem, his neighbor heard. And he actually had a firm neighbor. They came in and they saved his life. And then he somehow had the strength to now be healed and to now be a mentor to many, many other addicts and to be someone that has had the strength every day to get up and not drink or get up and not do drugs, get up and find happiness. Someone who's had real problems with addictions, the strength they need, you can't even imagine. What people don't realize, we're all addicts. We're all addicts to Yitzhara. We're all addicts to the dark side. Every one of us has got something that's our real weakness. And the only way you're going to win is finding incredible strength. So yes, we start with a bit of chutzpah. That gets you going. That's why he started with chutzpah. That's just to get you on the playing the game. To get you in the game, you need some chutzpah. The beginning of the game, start looking from a bird's eye perspective. What's the overall, where's my strengths, where are the weaknesses? You know, we've got the World Cup at the moment. So my team, England, was in it. So if you look at it, the way it works when you're playing sports at a high level, it's all about strategy. Right, so you've got England with all our strengths and weaknesses, and Harry Kane, the Spurs boy, against, we're playing Argentina, another Spurs boy at the back, Romero, and we've got Messi. But it's interesting, he's maybe the best player of all time, but Baruch Hashem, he's in his 40s now. So hopefully you'll have a wheelchair for him with a walking stick. And there's a limit to how good he's going to be in the 40s. So on the other hand, he's Messi. So we're trying to work out, do you put a man on him? Or actually, do we have to what? In other words, any strategy, you look at the strengths, you look at the weaknesses, and you have to strategize. It's going to be tomorrow night. It's Spain against France. You've got France, you've got the best players in the world. You've got Mbappe, and you got Olise behind him, and you got Dembele. But maybe their attacking strength will be their weakness. If Spain can just let them have the ball a bit, let them have it, because at the back they're not that good. Their defense isn't that good. So sometimes the strategist, what's the strength? So I've got news for you. Yitzhara is doing that on you the whole time. Your Yitzhara has you down. It's got your whole team, your Yitzhara. We don't even realize we're in a fight. So we need to take that strategy and like the Kal Kanesha and look from the bird's perspective. But then we start the game. Get your heart in it. You want to win. England beat Mexico only because of mentality. Only because they were ready to die on the pitch. There's only 10 of them on the pitch for about an hour. But there was like over my dead body is the ball going in the net. We need to have that mentality of my dead body. I'm not going to serve Hashem today. Which is a beautiful thing. You wake up in the morning, that means Hashem wants you to serve Him today. That means Hashem has trust in you today. Modani lefanecha. Thank you, Hashem, for giving me my body that I can serve you today. And then the end of Modani is a beautiful thing, Mandy, for you to say in the morning, a great mantra. Modani fanecha melech chai v'kayam. Shechsarta li b'nishmati. You've restored my heart and my soul. Be'emunatecha. And be'emunatecha doesn't mean for my faith in you. It means you put your faith in me. Hashem, put your faith in me. If you wake up every morning saying, Hashem, thank you for putting your faith in me today. And because you put your faith in me, I'm going to give it my best. Wow, what a way to start a day. If you can start the day again, saying this in English, thank you, Hashem, for putting your faith in me. I'm now going to do my best to repay your faith. You're going to have the best day of your life. But then, and this is the secret that's going to get you from beginning of the game to success, you've got to be strong like a lion. You've got to activate Gvura, because, and I'm telling you, the hardest part of my life, bar none, is now become Salvia, trying to build JTLV. The obstacles in the way, I can't even imagine. I'm having to find strength I didn't even know existed, just to keep going. Just to like kadima, kadima. I love this word in Hebrew and I would use it sometimes in your own spiritual life. When you're really finished and you've had a bad day, say kadima, kadima, just keep going. Even if you might be tired, you might be in pain, you might have all reasons not to. Aber lech kadima. There's no choice. So you lech kadima and you find the gevurah of the Ari, and those beautiful four things is going to help you succeed spiritually. So we'll just review again. Number one was bold out like the leopard. Have chutzpah just to get you in the game. Number two, light like an eagle. Have that bird's eye perspective. Number three, to be fast, to show your enthusiasm, to show your hearts in it, and then finally to show your strength. Without your strength, without the gevurah, you're not going to succeed. I'll give you a bracha. But you'll be able to be bold as a leopard at the right time. You'll be able to be light like an eagle in the right time, to be able to be fast like the deer, and most importantly, Gibor Kari, strong like a lion. And Bezrat Hashem, by doing that, you should all succeed in fulfilling the will of Hashem, everybody. Eftov. Any questions? So, come please Wednesday night. We've got a beautiful